I'm Kate.
I'm Ebong.
And I'm Sonya.
And today we're dishing with you from West End Bistro, which is located at 22 and M Street Northwest in the Ritz-Carlton downtown.
And we have a great guest for all of you today. It's Miss America. The Miss America right here. Caressa Cameron actually has a real name. And you brought the crown.
Yes,
Thank you for gracing our table with yourself and the crown.
Great centerpiece.
Now you're sort of a local. You're originally from Fredericksburg, Virginia, and you were Miss Virginia and crowned Miss America. And ever since then, you've been on this whirlwind tour.
Yeah.
What brings you back to Washington?
Well, I am here actually to kick off our big CMN Telethon Week. And so
CMN being
Children's Miracle Network, which is the national platform of the Miss America organization. And so I've been up since about 4:30 a.m. on satellite. Thank you. On satellite media calls, just getting people revved up about Celebration Week, and we're going to have 50 kids in from all 50 states that are going to come spend the week with me. We're going to tour around DC, and then we're going to Disney World.
Nice.
Disney World.
Wow.
That's what everyone says they're going to do whenever they do something spectacular.
I've never been to Disney World.
Well, speaking of spectacular things, you have, since you won, you've been doing things all over the country, right? Do you have I know you can't say you've had a favorite thing, but do you have a couple of memorable things that stand out in your mind that you've gotten to do?
I think the Super Bowl was absolutely bananas because I'm such a football fan, so that was awesome to get to go there. I recently just got back from Germany. I got to fly in a Black Hawk helicopter and do a parachute simulator, so it's just been absolutely jazzed. Like, I keep scratching things off my bucket list, and I'm like, oh man, I'm only 22. This is bad. It's all down here from here.
On the bucket list was be Miss America. Maybe that's sort of like does the bucket list transform into something else once you're crowned?
It has to, because if this is the highlight of my life,
yeah, that's
you know what I mean. And I'm only 22.
Stepping stone to great things.
Absolutely, yeah. But I've just done so many things this year that I would have never thought I would have had the opportunity to do, and so it's a blessing every day. It's a lot of hard work. Don't get me wrong. It's 20,000 miles a month. Every 36 hours I'm somewhere different, and sometimes I wake up and I'm like, where am I? What city am I in?
Well, run us through a day in the life of Miss America. A typical day for you.
Typical day for me is
4 a.m.
Waking up extremely early. I have interviews sometimes, then I'll go to Children's Miracle Network hospitals. I'll have meetings and focus groups about my personal platform, that being of HIV and AIDS, dinner and events with sponsors, reaching out and trying to get new ones. It's just every day it's something different, and they throw you something new, and then sometimes it's NASCAR races and baseball games, and you just never know where you're going to be. And sometimes people go, where have you been? And I'm like, where was I last?
If it's Tuesday, it's Washington, D.C. Let me talk to you a little bit about your platform of AIDS. Tell me why that became something that you became passionate about and wanted to take to Miss America.
Yeah, well, because it impacted my life long before I got involved with the Miss America program. People are always like, why did you pick AIDS? And I'm like, AIDS kind of picked me. It was a completely different thing. I lost my uncle to AIDS in 1995, and at that time I really didn't know what AIDS was. I just knew that my uncle was sick, and I would go to the mall, I would wrap presents, I would do whatever I can to help raise money for the awareness group that was in Fredericksburg at the time. And then as we got older, my family cared for a foster child with pediatric AIDS. And as my knowledge of what HIV and AIDS was, the demographic of people that it affected grew, I knew that there was something that I could do to be a part of the fight. And then that's when I decided that I wanted to be a peer educator, because I wanted to talk to young people about the decisions that they're making, taking their lives seriously, their status seriously. And I think that that's something that as Miss America I can do, because I have the ability to touch that target audience on a larger scale. And so I think it's such a great opportunity for me to be able to do all that I wanted to do in memory of my uncle. So it's great.
What, you know, Miss America has this sort of very squeaky clean image, if you will. You don't see us posing for like lingerie shots. Just saying, not that there's anything wrong with that. That's just not what we do. But
although she would look smoking hot as she was.
You are not drinking an alcoholic beverage, but you're talking about AIDS, which is a sexually transmitted disease. How do you feel about talking to young children about that? How do you feel about Miss America talking about a sexually transmitted disease when she's supposed to have the squeaky clean?
Absolutely. You know, my thing has always been, I can't make other people's choices for them, but I can help them be well equipped to make healthy decisions. It's just like with our children, we tell them, don't cross the street, don't cross the street, don't cross the street. But the very thing we tell them is, if you do cross the street, look both ways. And so in my opinion, I think it's the same thing. I can go and I can talk to young people about making healthy choices, because I pride myself on making those healthy choices. Am I saying that I'm perfect? Absolutely not. But I am, so in the best way that I can, trying to be an example and trying to show them that there is a different way. There's a joy and opportunity, and not limiting yourself from what you can be based on a risky decision, be that with drugs and alcohol, be that with premarital sex, whatever the decisions that you are, and that you make. Keep your goals in mind and think about how will this decision affect my ultimate goal. And if that negatively, then maybe that's not a choice that I should make. And so I just hope to inspire a sense of joy and opportunity so that people can gauge all of the choices that they make in their life by what they want to be.
So do you have the ability to meet with other young people who are impressionable, I'd say, maybe teenage years?
Oh yeah, yes. I spend the majority of my time with young people, which is something that I tremendously enjoy. One of the last schools I did was KIPP Charlotte in, where was I? North Carolina. Yeah, I never know where I am, see? And so that was wonderful because this was a school full of young people that were considered high risk, and all of these kids come from inner city schools, and they go to school from 8 in the morning till 5 at night, 2 Saturdays a month. Like, these are kids who are serious about their future and wanting to become more. And so that's inspiring, to getting to go to schools like that. And then, you know, I just have the opportunity all the time to talk to young people, to get involved with the CDC in their Act Against AIDS campaign this year. And so this has just been a wonderful, wonderful year for me. And I'm excited because I have such a long way to go, so I know that I'll get to do so much more.
Well, as exciting and wonderful as it is, and I asked you what your best moments were, I also want to ask you, what are some of the worst moments about it? And maybe they're not particularly, you know, appearances, maybe it's feelings that you get, but what are some bad things about being Miss America?
Well, I wouldn't say bad things, but challenging things is, you know, sometimes it does get a little lonely. It gets a little lonely. Chicken, the hotel chicken, sometimes you don't want to eat any more hotel chicken. But I mean, that's a small price to pay, I guess, for all that I'm gaining this year. So, you know.
No, you, in your acceptance speech, if you will, after Miss America wins, she goes into this press conference. You said that when you were young, you won a pageant called
Someday a Miss America.
Someday a Miss America.
How ironic, isn't that weird?
How old were you?
Wow.
I was 7.
No, here's a question I have. If you started doing pageants at 7, can Miss America only win Miss America if she is a child pageant prodigy?
Absolutely not, because Kirsten Haglund 2 years ago, she won her local straight out the gate, then Miss State straight out the gate, and then Miss America. So I don't think it has anything to do with your pageant background or your pageant experience. I think what it has to do with is your soul, your heart for the program, and what you bring to the table. And that can be whether you have 10 years pageant experience or 10 days pageant experiences. What can you bring to the job?
Well, actually, speaking of bringing something to the job, what was your talent for the...
I sang Listen from Dreamgirls.
Obviously, this one didn't pay attention.
It's okay.
Okay, I've just made a...
Contestants on either side doesn't mean
Like, can you imagine? I'm amongst beauty queens, and I'm
Make sure you watch this year.
That's
Did I
right.
watch
Because we're going to be on ABC. It's our 90th year.
I've just made a big decision. We have so much more that we want to talk to Miss America about, and we just can't fit it all into 8 minutes. So we're going to have you come back. Don't forget to come back next time. We're going to have more with Miss America
It was a shock
coming
to
up
me.
next.
Yeah, but
See you later on the District Dish.